Are you burned out? Have you been burned out before and want to try to avoid it? This video is for you. In part one of how to avoid burnout beyond the basics, we talked about a few ways that you can start to pull out of or prevent burnout should you feel yourself going there. I would recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to insert a card, go watch that one, then come back. Remember the basics of burnout prevention? Exercise, eat a well-balanced diet, practice good sleep habits, ask for help. All right, that's great. I mean, you can watch any number of videos on YouTube that will tell you the same things in different forms. And they're right. So those are good prevention techniques. You can find tons of books and videos telling you all the same thing: to eat right, to ask for help, to delegate, to blah, 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 blah. What they never do tell you is how. HOW do you do all of that? In fact, take a minute and think. Do you know anyone who does all of those things consistently? Kind of rough. You know what that tells me? This is counterculture behavior. This is stuff that's so rare because the people who talk about it are completely immersed in this culture and they can't think of anything more original to say because they're stuck at the Church of Hard Work and Suffering. How are we supposed to fight the culture that we're immersed in? It's like telling a drowning person that all they need to do is breathe deeply. All that's going to get them is lungs full of water. So, in my opinion, when you're burned out or even just a little bit extra crispy, what you need to do before anything is to figure out how to reset your mind, body, and spirit. And that's going to require some time away from your regular burnout causing life. Okay? A guy that was way smarter than me used to say, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Yeah, that's true stuff. Let me say it again. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. That is why when we're dealing with burnout or we're headed towards it, we need to take a big giant step back and take a reset retreat. That's what I call it, where you remove yourself from your usual busy routine and just completely relax. Now, I can hear all of your objections. You're telling me I can't, because my kids, because my job, because I have too many responsibilities. I hear you. But before we talk about your objections, first, let's take a little time out for a story. It's story time at Hopeful Tribe. If you're sleepy, just pull up a comfortable chair and lean back because it's time for story time. Once upon a time, I was a single mom with many children, and I was living in the most expensive city in the United States of America. I was working 60 hours a week with people with severe mental health and substance use issues in the city, actually most of the time on the streets. And then when I wasn't home or working on the streets, I was finishing graduate school. So while I was working and going to school and raising all of those children, the youngest of whom was on the spectrum and very high need, by the way, I still managed to extricate myself from all of that once a quarter and take a reset retreat. It was essential to my success. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to go back and do all of that and love all those babies. The end. Back to your objections. Objective number 1, I don't have time. You really feel like you don't have time. But what I'm here to say is all you have is time. Besides your mind, body, and spirit, all you own is your time. That's all you have. You can do whatever you want with your time. And when you get burned out, or even just a little extra crispy, you tend to believe that you don't have time to take a break. But this is disordered thinking, which is even more reason for you to take a break. All right? You do have time. You can find time. Number 2, I don't have money. You don't need to have money to take a break. You might have to do some planning to take it, but you don't actually need money. There are ways around that. I, for instance, have a friend who has a vacation place. And if I ask them what weekend they won't be using it, I'm sure they'd be happy to let me borrow it. In which case, all I would have to worry about as far as money goes is gas money. Now, since I'm self-employed, I also have to make sure that my expenses will be covered in spite of my taking some time off. And if you don't have friends who have guest homes or even a spare bedroom somewhere, figure out how to create extra incomes to cover those expenses. Speaking of reset retreats, I have one planned for when I get 100 subscribers. Right now, I have 77. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. And if you've already subscribed, could you please share this video with a friend so that maybe they'll subscribe? Because I'm so close, y'all, and I could use a little reset retreat myself. Objection number 3. My kids, my partner, my coworkers, my colleagues, my church, my whatever, they need me. Yes, they probably do. And we're going to deal with that in another video. However, right now, you really need a reset retreat. And that is because they need you. They need you to be well. They need you to be thinking clearly. They need your mood to be stable. They need you to have a good connection with your higher power. They need you. So you need to figure out how you're going to fit in a reset retreat to your schedule. Any more objections? If you do have more, please put them in the comments below and I will make sure to go through each and every comment and answer any objections that you might have that I didn't mention here. Also, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm only 33 subscribers away from my next reset retreat, so please help a girl out. Also, if you subscribe and turn on the notifications, you will not miss part 3. But don't even start part 3 until you've taken your reset retreat. I will know. Now go figure it out. Figure out how you're going to extract yourself from all your busyness. All right. Welcome home, Hopeful Tribe.
Welcome home, you are home. Come on in, tell me where you've been. I've been waiting for we're apart. You felt loved and hopeful every moment in your heart. Welcome home. You are home. Come on in. Tell me how you've been.